What's up? What's going on? Wipe your tears from the E3. You're just emotional. I know you are right now. Wipe them away. What do you see? The DweeBros. This is episode 18 of the DweeBros podcast.
18. Oh my god.
18 it is.
I feel like every time we get like a new month in, we're like, I can't believe we're still in the air.
Good
like
Lord.
YouTube doesn't shut
We're
this
still
crap
in the
down.
air. For those that are just joining us, that have never seen a podcast before, I am Zach, your hostess with the mostest on this YouTube.com. We've got...
This is Jacob, as always, the coolest guy in the room. No offense.
This is Travis.
No offense taken.
Travis, the third coolest guy in the room.
Plenty of offense.
And I'm the second.
In case you needed a complete ranking.
Hey, now we know.
Yeah, we talk games, we talk movies, we talk TV shows, but this month, usually after E3, we kind of keep it more drilled down, and we just kind of give our afterthoughts on E3. Because when you first see it, your emotions are rising, you're in the moment, and you're kind of hyped. I'm punching walls, I'm throwing
Screaming.
pillows and ripping pillows up.
Then
and
you
when,
kind of come down.
Yeah,
and you're
once
like,
the feathers
okay, this
come
is what
down,
actually
I have
think.
6 months till this game comes
Yeah.
out.
once the feathers have cleared, you start to think more rationally and go, oh, the developers come out, there's usually articles kind of clarifying things about games, and you go, oh, that
Yep.
sucks. Or go, wow, I'm more excited than when I appeared in the reaction videos. Whatever.
3 months later, you get the news of the delay.
So what we're going to
and
do
you're like,
is we're going to go
man,
down the
more
line
depressed.
on each kind of show, kind of give a one sentence, kind of what we thought, very quick. I have some bullet points. It's very quick or whatever, and then like a letter grade we're going to do.
For each
on-
conference?
For each conference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Conference. I
So we'll
can't
start from the top,
speak.
right?
We're starting from the top, and then we're here, just like
Yeah.
the song is. We'll go. I'll just start them out or whatever. We'll go you, and then we'll go Travis, and we'll just do each like. We'll start with each conference for
Okay.
each of us. Yeah. EA. I give them an F. And I just put a very big waste of everyone's time. I think back to that, and I just think it just used so much of our times on things that, like, I just heard just across the board nobody had fun with, and I still feel the same way after the smoke cleared. I look back and go, that just was a terrible time. They just had people playing the mobile stuff
Yeah.
and whatever. So, what do you think?
EA, I give it a D.
Okay.
They just really don't get it.
Yeah.
So that's all I have. They just don't get it.
Yeah, I give that thing an F wholeheartedly. Okay, so the little indie thing, Sea of Solitude, was kind of cool. It deserved to be in a better show. Like I wish Sony or somebody
Yeah.
would have saved it and like shown it for his eyes. And then yeah, Anthem just looks so bland.
It looks so boring.
It looks so incredibly boring, and I'm like, this is the people who made Mass Effect. Like, that world and how cool that world is. I mean, I'll reserve complete judgment until we get there, but man, it looks like a dud. So, and I cannot handle any longer that mother effer who comes out there and we want to give you choice. That is what we're trying to do. You are trying to take our money. This guy is the sleaziest guy.
Yeah.
EA.
I guess the only reason I gave them a D is because Madden is always coming to the PC.
Sure.
Fingers crossed they don't screw that up.
Yeah, they didn't really talk about that in the conference, but yeah, that's good news.
I guess more or less for me, I know that in the back of my head. Plus, you have like all the other sports games.
Yeah.
If they didn't have the sports games, it'd be an F.
Yeah.
To me, Anthem needed to be.
They had
thing.
Unraveled, and Unraveled was neat.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's like those
It wasn't
things,
a good game.
I feel bad.
The bad outweighs the good.
I was between
in this
giving it a
conference.
D and an F, but honestly, like, this is like if your drunk, stupid, unfaithful boyfriend comes home with like a rose, with 2 roses. Like, here's 2 roses I bought for you, but you know, like, I'm drunk right now. You know what I mean?
Don't
Like,
get it.
I'll change. I'm gonna change. I'm listening. Like, that's Unravel 2 and Sea of Solitude are 2 roses, and your house is trash, and he is not paying the bills. So I get rid of that.
No
Yeah.
surprises,
Yeah.
and they just like to hear themselves talk. I don't know. So that's EA. Microsoft. I don't know. I think I'm going to be a controversial person on this, but I want to say my letter. I'm going to back myself up. D plus. So not an F. I thought that EA was wasting our time, but here's where I think I judge like an EA differently than than Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. They're on different things because they're like making the consoles, and like you have to give us a reason. They're kind of like more is on their plate to like, or more is like responsibilities on them to make stuff. And I still I was wanting more first-party stuff, and it just wasn't, the stuff that was there, like Gears, okay, Forza and stuff, it's like, that's every freaking year. Gears 5 looked just like the other ones. I don't know, like, I mean, we even talked, I think, when we did that conference of, like, they just got to reboot that series. Like, Gears needs a God of War reboot, whatever. So just lots of third-party stuff. But here's the saving grace. Here's where the D+, here's where the plus comes from, almost to a C. Is they did say, hey, we bought up all these studios. We are committed to making first party. It was a very translation was, we fricked up this gen with like trying to get first party stuff to you. They recognized that in this way and said, tune in next time. This was a tune in next gen. We're going to get that first party stuff. And I'm excited for next gen for them, for Xbox. I think they kind of looked at what they did wrong, and maybe it sounds like they're going to step it up. So this was, we're hearing come back next gen. Okay. So they at least get the plus for me. I liked that.
See, I guess my scale of like redemption is different because I would give Microsoft a B.
Okay.
And the reason I give Microsoft a B is because their willingness to go out there and show at least what they have in games.
Yeah.
Because normally they'd be like, oh, look at this car. Yeah. Or, hey, let's have a guy come on stage and talk about... They did have the car,
you're right.
I know, but they have a guy come on stage and then they're talking and they're not really focused on games. I think Microsoft really drilled it in on the games this year.
Yeah,
hey, look at these third-party games. Yeah, the Xbox One's a third-party machine. It is what it is. But we also have Halo on the horizon. We also have Gears.
Yeah.
Two beloved franchise Microsoft will go to war with. Like, Last of Us is trash compared to those games because they love those series. I'm not green. I don't agree with that at all. But that's just a testament of how good the series have stand up.
Yeah.
And for Microsoft to finally like drill in on those and finally recognize that and to promise later down the road that they're going to get this stuff together, I think is a huge improvement compared to last year. I think that deserves a worthy B.
Okay, that's fair.
Where I'm sitting, I own an Xbox that I don't use. And this conference neither made me excited to use that thing, but it also didn't make me like, I'm going to throw it out the window. It just came and went, and I felt nothing, towards my Xbox. To me, I should not watch your conference and, like, spend 2 hours watching something about your device and feel nothing. So I give it a C. It's just that simple. It was an effective conference. They showed a lot of games. I'm excited about the idea of Halo Infinite, but that seems very early. But I will say I'm really high on the idea of that. Going back to the original, like more in the vein of the original art style, the framing and the pacing of the shots, everything we've seen from 343 on their other Halo games are these crazy, like, 8 Spartans going down a mountain, crazy. That captured the tone of Halo 1 more than anything else they put out since Halo 3.
That's true,
So if they capture that tone with whatever they do, I do not trust the Halo marketing team. I've learned that through the years. But if they capture that, cool. So like that, plus with the new studios, a glimmer of hope on the horizon. But for right now, it is entering my body and exiting my body, and it's like...
No nutrients.
It is literally... your body. Yeah, it is nothing. So, I won't remember it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk looks awesome, though. But to me, that's a PC game.
Yeah.
But it's in their show, so I will say, like, that maybe
that was
says
cool to
something.
See.
They had cool stuff that I wanted to play.
General tone, I think they've improved.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you mentioned we didn't get to see the freaking car this year, so at least that was a big up. Next up, Bethesda, depending on what side of the states you're from.
Bethesda.
Tomato. I gave that a B. I will say, comedy routines was a bit too much. I felt like it was on Comedy Central for a little bit. Todd Howard up there every 2 seconds getting a laugh, joking about stuff. Good offerings. They updated, even games that had bad sells that didn't sell, up to their expectation. They were updating those. They're adding DLC to that. They're patching stuff on there. Cool. Thought that was really awesome to do that. And then another like kind of thing that I go into these conferences, the rating and stuff, is I usually like big surprises too. That kind of like affects my rating and stuff a little bit. So having that Starfield teaser and that Elder Scrolls teaser as far off as they could be, I'm a sucker for. So that affects my rating. I give it a B. Had a good time. They didn't waste time. I thought it was cool. Fallout 76.
Yeah.
Stuff that I didn't think I was going to be interested in. Looked kind of interesting. So they had a great, updating all these games. They kept them all updated and stuff. So awesome.
Cool. Bethesda for me, I give them an A. And the reason I give them an A is I can't find anything in there that I said I disliked.
Yeah.
I liked everything they presented. And for me, if you turn in a paper and there's no mistakes on it, you get 100. Yeah. So it's pretty simple math to me. They're introducing games. I'm excited because Fallout looks like
Doom Eternal.
That was what I was getting to too.
Yeah.
Fallout's finally getting the multiplayer, which I think has been kind of wanted.
Yeah.
Finally, because they did with Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah.
But this one seems like it's going to be more toned down. And Bethesda's always trying to keep games alive. You see it with Skyrim. You see it with a lot of the games they play. They want to make these games classics.
Yeah.
That stick around forever. And that just shows a testament to those developers.
Yeah.
So I definitely think overall presentation is an A. Great games, great team. I'm really excited for this next year.
Bethesda's conference was such a breath of fresh air coming out of
EA
and Microsoft to a certain extent, where they're just talking about. That was another thing that I had an issue with Microsoft was the streaming stuff.
Yeah,
and like really pushing. You could tell they're really pushing for a future where like you don't buy our games, like you just pay us $10 a month and we let you play them. And that's the future. Like and Bethesda could not have been less on that wavelength. Like they were, hey. We make single-player experiences. We'll bring some multiplayer stuff in, but like our goal is to bring it. And honestly, Bethesda for me has never been my favorite company.
Yeah.
But they really have struck like a good nerve with me. So to me, they showed everything was like getting DLC for Prey, like which I thought looked cool and did interesting things with Prey systems. Doom 2, of course, I'm pumped about that. I think that the Wolfenstein, like the idea of it being the twins of the main character in the future in the 80s, like I think that sounds cool. Killing Nazis in the 80s, that sounds like a cool time for DLC. And then you start getting into the heavy hitters. Fallout 76, when I heard it was going to be multiplayer, I wasn't that interested. But when I saw really how they rolled out what that would look like, I got more interested. I thought I'd play that. And then I've been waiting for Starfield, which has been rumored forever, because I'm not the biggest fan of like the fantasy RPGs. I'll play them, but they're not my favorite. I love space. Yeah. I love space RPGs, and they've been talking about Bethesda's been teasing a space RPG for years, even though all we got was the title card. That was cool. So, yeah, like this conference to me was like perfect. Like it was exactly what I wanted. I give it an A-. The only reason I give the minus is because the stuff I'm the most excited about, being Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6, are like
the
really far off. And it's not like hey, they shouldn't have said it. It's just like, hey, I can't get full on A because I don't even know what these things look like yet. Yeah. But I give them an A.
Cool. A-. Okay. Square Enix. I gave Square Enix a C+. We got 2 new IP in there. And that's something I guess I'll just mention this now. This whole E3 in general, there was an air of like, we are moving on. I mean, even Microsoft was saying we're building the studio. It's like, oh, all this stuff's pointing to the next gen.
Yeah.
And like even Starfield, they said this is a next generation game. So they're like, everybody's mindset was kind of like next gen. We are getting ready for this next gen. And in that, I thought it was cool that Square Enix like announced 2 new IP. They might be next gen, they might be cross gen, but it was cool to see 2 new IP: The Quiet Man and Babylon's Army. I don't know, Babylon something. I'm gonna put in the comments.
That
what it was.
Platinum Games.
Or I'll put it in here, whatever. Most games look fun. I'll play, most of those. That was like Just Cause 4, The Shadow of the Tomb Raider looked good. They're at the C thing. No new footage of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Not even a screenshot. Not even like a screenshot here. It's like
give these guys a C+.
Yeah, I give them a C+.
I tuned into this for like 10 minutes. This was the only one I didn't do with you, and man, I was bored. Like, and I saw it only lasted like 28 minutes.
But at the same time, when it comes to like, I also, another thing that's kind of weighing on my score is like, did they waste your time? So wasn't a much thing. Hey, this was quick. I mean, they didn't like sit out and say, "Here's Nick at Night who's going to fight." Here's Nick at Night that's going to fight. You're going to watch a cell phone. It's like, hey, they got it out there what they're doing, and C+ for me.
I give this an F. It really sucked. I understand you say not waste my time. 28 minutes is a lot to me, and you really just took a dump on it. Final Fantasy VII is all I care about from you, and you can't even put that out right now. So screw your IPs, screw everything else you're doing. Do your job, make the game. So F.
Did they recycle?
Don't want him as a teacher.
Didn't they recycle the Kingdom Hearts trailer from Microsoft?
So yeah, they did. They recycled.
They just don't.
Sounds like they used their time real great.
So that's my opinion.
They did actually. I think their trailer was tweaked, and they did show something new in the Kingdom Hearts, the Ratatouille. So they did put that in there. That was a little different.
Cool. F+.
Okay, I did get his grade up. Square Enix.
I got you. It's a good movie.
I helped you. I think you can pass this quarter.
My goodness. Yeah.
Did you mention your?
No grade. I watched 10 minutes of it, and it did not leave an impression on me.
He's closer to an F than you think.
Wow. Okay.
I looked at the announcements afterwards and had no opinion. None whatsoever.
Ubisoft is next.
I don't even treat that as a real conference. Like even like the official YouTube stream, like they pull up Jeff Keighley. He's like, yeah, like Square Enix did some stuff this morning. Like we're gonna like talk about it. Like
we'll talk about a few.
They didn't even stream that on the main stream.
It just goes to show. Like
I did laugh. Fake Kaz Harai on Twitter. This is his last. They're closing that account up. I thought that was, he's ending on top. But he had a funny tweet that said, if you combine the Square Enix conference with the Sony conference, you get a full conference by then.
That's actually really funny.
Yeah. So Ubisoft is next. I gave that a C-. Here's where I kind of like. Here's what was my mindset of that. Most of those games we kind of talked about in our reaction video were all kind of like you can play it. They all felt like I feel like those games are all going to be tight and like they're fun and they're all online. They're doing all this stuff, blah blah. But none of them kind of stood out like style wise. They kind of just were like you could have told me this was Just Cause 4. Oh, it's Crew 2. You know what I mean? Like some stuff kind of looked very similar. Nothing I really hated. It was cool they had the Donkey. They got more like the Donkey Kong stuff.
The Mario.
So they really are like Nintendo's really supporting them. So
they need to. Someone else is.
Yeah. So I gave that a C-. You could almost go into D territory for that because Beyond Good and Evil 2, I don't even like the direction to go with that. But nothing that I hated. It's just not for me per se, I guess.
I give this a D as well. Well, not as well. It is a D.
Yeah, I might lower mine. Maybe I'll join the D.
And the only reason it's a D for me is because I do love the Just Cause series, and to see them making another game is awesome.
That was Square Enix.
Oh, what?
Just Cause 4 was...
I know Avalanche is making games for like every single conference, but they're not... The Just Cause was in Ubisoft.
That was Square Enix.
Square Enix.
Square Enix, you're a D now. Ubisoft's an F.
Right? Oh, okay.
So we're going to flip those.
Dude, Square Enix, I am helping you.
I guess I mixed A. That's how irrelevant both of these were. Like, they could have combined conferences.
Square Enix makes The Last of Us, too.
You didn't like the dancing at the beginning?
I just don't like... I guess for me, and like you kind of hit on the head, I will play Assassin's Creed, but not like 3 years later.
How on earth did I forget that Bethesda opened with that stupid Rock and Roll Rage 2 song?
You didn't like that?
Now it really earned the A-. Now it really earned the... I was like, why am I giving this a minus? That's why, because of that nonsense.
I like this. It's kind of cool. I just don't...
So you give Ubisoft an F?
Ubisoft gets an F.
I don't ever really play any of their games.
Didn't you just play Origins?
I stopped playing it, obviously.
Gotcha.
Oh, that's another thing real quick. They, for a while, came out and said, hey, we're going to take a break from Assassin's Creed, and I feel like we're right back on the train.
That was a one-time break. That was
and you mentioned, like, maybe they'll do 3 and then, like, right back to back and then take a little break. But, man, Assassin's Creed used to be, when Assassin's Creed 2 was announced, it was like, oh, shoot, a new Assassin's Creed. But, like, you don't have that impact when you keep releasing your
They
stuff
found their Mario, but except now they're cramming it down our throats.
Yes.
Ubisoft has a character.
Assassin's Creed is nowhere near as playable as Mario.
It's not, but that's the only game that you can put smack a title on and people will automatically buy it because...
I would have rather seen Watch Dogs 3. I really would have.
I don't care for the game, so I guess my F's are more of an unrighteous F, but to me...
Unrighteous F. I don't have... Beyond Good and Evil was one property for them that I was like really stoked about, and I don't like what they're doing with it. So it's like I can't think of anything from Ubisoft. Rayman was fun, the last Rayman Legends and all that stuff. Those are fun, but man, I don't see anything from Ubisoft that I'm like, oh shoot. Anymore.
When's the last time they made a great game?
I don't know. I hated this conference. I literally, where you're like, oh, they're all you can play it.
Yeah.
To me, they're all like, why would you play it? Like,
why would you play it?
That's a different thing than a you can play. You can play. I just was watching this, and you can see on the stream, like, the Skull and Bones, the Division, the Assassin's Creed, like, it just never ended.
They're making a second game.
And I'm
of
just
that crap.
sitting here, and I'm just like, man, this is painful. Like, it is, and everything is that same tone of, like, we're taking this world seriously, and there's, like, jargon and with the NPCs, and they're explaining what you're doing, and then the dialogue wheels and the bland, dude, kill me. Like, so this got a rock solid D for me. I slugged my way through that conference.
Yeah,
what makes you give it a D?
It's just a
because
slog
it's not.
we were kind of fall asleep a little bit.
It's not hot garbage, and they don't. The thing also that separates Ubisoft from EA, I say this: EA is the worst people at the Star Wars license, which is my favorite license, because EA makes that same brand and they layer it with all this nefarious bull crap, like these loot boxes and this methodology. No.
It's a good game now, I promise.
Whereas Ubisoft, like, they stick with their games. Like, Rainbow Six Siege is actually a good game. They stick with these For Honor games, and they try to make them better. They try not to screw over the customers, and they get out there. They're French. They get out there and they say, "Oh, we love you so much," and like my heart goes out to them. I hate what they're making, but like I think that they're good people.
Yeah.
That's why they get a D, whereas EA gets an F, because EA makes, like, why would you play it? And they suck as people. Like, their leadership is awful.
They get a double whammy.
Yeah.
I will say Ubisoft Trials I liked, but that was it. That was that personally for me.
I don't give them awards for participating. I only give them awards for actually doing. So I guess
you're a harsh teacher.
You're a F.
Yeah, you're
pass fail.
Pass or fail. Yeah, and nothing surprising at all from Ubisoft, but yeah. I want to actually cycle back for a second on EA. I forgot about this. What was up with that? The guy that was in charge of the new Star Wars game, and that's how they announced that. Hey, can you tell us about it? Here's the title.
Dude,
I don't give a frick.
That's ridiculous. Don't even tell us at that point.
Yeah, and it's like, can you tell us any more? It's this. Wow, and it's good with Jedi.
That's so low effort.
What a terrible way to introduce Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like they should have like the star and like the Star Wars logo, and that's how you should.
Guys, it's EA.
It just shows
that was such a low effort.
They will crap a game out to make the money.
Their handling of that franchise is terrible. Unbelievable. They've owned it since 20. They've had rights since 2012, and we've had nothing.
Let's please, I brought it up, but I want to put it back in the coffin. Get EA out of here.
Yeah.
Sony's conference. I gave that a B+. There was no big surprises here. There was Resident Evil, 2. That was like the one thing that kind of slipped in there. But going into this, they explained, this is a showcase. Here's what we're showing. So it was. So everything else was kind of like cherry on the top, or here's a little extra little dessert with it. So there's no new big surprises this year. But that goes back to what I was saying of like in the air. It just felt like everything's getting ready for this next gen. Everything's getting ready for PS5. Everything's getting ready for next Xbox. All that. It was great to see gameplay Death Stranding. That was like I went into the C3 going, give me gameplay to Death Stranding. That's what I'm most looking forward to. And they delivered that. Had a great time watching that. Had a fun time watching that. That Ghost of Tsushima, when they first showed that, I was like, cool, we'll have to see more on that, see how I felt. And I felt awesome. I came out of that going like, wow.
I'm all in
like
on
that looks like a old Japanese like film. They nailed this aesthetic. Looked gorgeous. Yeah, I'm really into it. So now I'm really looking forward to Ghost of Tsushima. They finally showed more in-depth gameplay on Spider-Man.
Yep, thank God.
Really excited for that. That looked really fun. I
feel like that's a game that I will skip every cutscene. I have not. The gameplay looks awesome. Everything with characters talking to each other, just like shoot me in the head. This is so boring.
Really?
Yeah.
It brings me back to being a kid and watching the old Spider-Man TV show.
Yeah.
So some of that is kind of like
plus Spider-Man's wit is just
bubbling up in
A-class comedy to me.
Yeah, so that was fun. I did put a note on here of like I feel like every E3 they've kind of like changed it up or they've done something weird or whatever. And this one they changed whole sets. And I actually saw they did like some behind the scenes of them like building these whole things. And here's the thing, E3 is about the games, and Sony doesn't even understand that in the theatrics of it. But there's a part of me, I'm a sucker for the theatrics, and I'm a sucker for the presentation to present these fun games that you're going to play. if they did all these theatrics and their game sucked, I would kind of be
Sure.
like buzz off with these sets and stuff. But I like that this year they had they moved everybody out of a set that was ended up. They showed, oh, you're in Last of Us. Like they showed the trailer first of Last of Us 2. Oh, you're in that tent. That, you know what I mean? You just get led in this room. You're like, okay, this is weird little setting, and you don't even know. And I thought it was cool. And they had another guy come out and play, or the guy from Last of Us played the guitar and stuff. I'm a sucker for that. Loved that. You kind of had stuff about you'll probably talk about the in between.
Let me cut in. That didn't work for me at all. I love the idea of it.
Yeah,
it looked cool on the stream. It was not. It didn't work for me. It did not work. It was not worth whatever coolness you got out of being in that room from the beginning. It was not worth the 20 awkward minutes of us sitting here okay, what's next? That eradicated. That ruined the pacing of the show for me.
When they have
absolutely they literally. They wasted my time more in that 20 minutes than I would say any other conference did. It was 100% dead time. There's no way to justify
I don't think so. I don't agree with that.
They showed us Call of Duty Black Ops map packs.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I did think they had a good combo
dude.
They had a great combo of okay, we're showing this gameplay, we're doing the theatric stuff, but then it was kind of rough. I'll give you that.
It kills the flow.
But in between that, it was a combo of PSX, where PSX was those guys talking.
No,
and
everything they showed this past week. We've already seen all these. They teased all this stuff. I hate it. I think it's in dispute. I think it's ridiculous.
Resident Evil 2 wasn't
No, the in between. I'm talking about the.
But they used the in between to show Resident Evil 2.
No, that was Resident Evil 2 was back when they went back into
the show.
Really?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, okay. You know what we got in
100%
between?
Sure.
We got
Call of Duty Black Ops. They talked
They showed
awkwardly.
the Destiny 2.
They talked. They
thing.
showed that it was 1 minute. They talked awkwardly for 5 minutes, and then he's like, "Don't keep your." It felt like a pre-show. It was a waste. They did not show any, and then they showed the sizzle reel of the games they revealed during the week.
It was a little rough, I will say, but
not up to their standard.
But I do.
At all.
I think that they had a right ideal, and that's why I'll go back on their ambition for changing this every year is really cool.
Sure.
And them trying it and building two sets is awesome.
That's why I don't say they shouldn't have tried it.
Yeah.
I said it was shit. I hated it. I didn't enjoy it. I don't think it was worth it.
Yeah,
I just
and I will say it was a little rough. But if they could have just if they had a couple more things to show in there, or they did use that, they did show some PSVR stuff. If they would have used that as little, okay, here's another meal, here's some appetizers, and then here's another meal. That would have been cooler if they would have packed that more between the sets.
I don't understand. It was awkward because we had this really big set piece thing. Then nothing for 20 minutes. Then another big set piece thing because he comes out playing the flute.
Yeah.
And then they didn't do music for the... So anyway, I'm done on that. You guys know how I feel about that. I guess, what did you give the conference set? A B+?
I gave it a B+, yeah.
I gave this thing probably just a B. And what sucks is that it had A moments, but the long, drawn-out crap was just, unbelievable. And I'm just going to put this out there. I'm excited for Spider-Man. I don't think that's a closer game. They've closed with that 2 years in a row, I think, and I don't see it as a closer. It leaves me underwhelmed as the closer every time. I said, it looks fun, but to me, it just looks...
Yeah, I was thinking...
They shouldn't have closed. I don't know why
I was thinking more about that, and I was like, man, maybe Last of Us 2 could have been the closer.
Yeah,
because I was like, that's kind of more everyone wants to play that, but man, maybe they just know that Marvel's a big thing right now, and they're like... I think Spider-Man for them was here's mainstream. Everybody
that game is gonna sell hotcakes. It's a big deal. I'm gonna play. I might buy it day one. But I'm not saying new things needed to be revealed. This show came down to me. The flow was really, really, really weird. I love Ghost of Tsushima. I really like Death Stranding. I'm into whatever weird thing that is. Yeah. Last of Us was cool. And what was that? Control, that new Remedy game?
Oh, yeah.
It literally looks like a redo of Quantum Break, but I'm more excited to play that than Quantum Break without the goofy sci-fi show attached to it. And Resident Evil 2, all about that.
Happy that I loved how they revealed that. They're really good. Capcom is at revealing what the game is. Because we had no clue about Resident Evil 7. No clue about Resident Evil 2.
I just think Sony got a little bit too far up their own butt this year with we want to create this experience for the 100 people who happen to be here at the expense of anybody else who's watching.
Stuff was rough, but I'll always take their ambition. I'll always take even if it doesn't work, I'll always take the attempt at something cool. I'll always take that Like, don't give me like a Forza car every year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, at least they're changing it up.
Overall, I was more positive on it. It just, I don't waste my time. Don't send me back to the pre-show.
Yeah, I get that.
Man, that frustrating.
What
What do you
about
think, Jake?
Glass is coming off. He's gonna F. That's gonna be an F.
Let me make this really clear.
Oh my god.
Sony, I tried for you, bro. I tried, but these two, they just...
I love Sony. I think they do some awesome things. And these past 3 E3s have been stellar. But they got too far up their butt, and I completely agree with Travis.
Oh,
they sat there, and you have to understand, like, when you put on a show, your presentation has to be spot on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but when he walked out there and his mic's feeding back, to me, that's trash. Like, you can't even get that right. So that's the terrible way to start. Last of Us 2. Great game. Very phenomenal. Great trailer. Looks amazing.
Yeah, trailer was awesome.
I love the fact they were in the tent. I think it was really cool.
They should have done the whole thing in the tent. If you want to try something new, cool. Do it. Don't pivot off of that and then try to also do the cool big crazy thing with the big IMAX screen. Pick what you're going to do.
That could have worked, yeah.
That's what my biggest thing. Sorry to interrupt. Pick what you're going to do and commit. They tried to do both, and that's where I don't think they were ambitious. They were ambitious for a minute, and then they're like, but we can pivot out and go do the normal show, too.
They
F them for that.
Blue-balled us so hard because they sat there and they gave us one of their best games, and if not their best game they had to show first.
There's a world where this is their best conference in years, and I mean, it's fine. We're talking about, like, this isn't an art form. This is just a show. But
to Sony, this is an art form. This is
I'm all about the flow, man. Get me into it and get me going and get me going and get me going.
My biggest pet peeve is, okay, you just showed up for one of the greatest games. You just cut to a panel that is literally a definition of a pre-show panel, because I completely agree with Travis.
Would you guys have been on a different thing? Because I would have maybe given them an A if they did this. If they cut from the tent, like, we're going to move them. Okay, and they showed back-to-back, no human people. They just went back-to-back sizzle
that would have helped,
of games.
But here's the biggest issue then. The people who are moving from stadium to stadium misses those games because they do it all live. They can't do that. So they paint themselves in a production corner.
Well, we're not there, though.
I know we're not there, but I'm trying to give you an idea of, like, from their standpoint, in their minds, like, we got to kill 20 minutes while they're transferring rooms. So, of course, they're going to be like, take to the panel, recap the social media.
It would have been fine for me as, like, a viewer from
even
outside.
if you're there, though. Because the first one I thought they were going to do was that every one of the big 4 set-piece games was going to be its own venue.
Me too.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Or if they just stayed in the chapel the whole time, that would have been cool. You were the people attending that, you were in one auditorium for 5 minutes, and then you got up and went to another auditorium, and then 30. You were there for the rest of the hour and a half.
Yeah, whatever it was.
I would have been like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what? Like,
so,
I just...
on top of that...
I don't know.
Also that another thing is, like, that was standing room only, so they just got straight out. There was no, like, seating that they had to get
sitting down.
Yeah, there were people sitting in the front, but I just think like
people were standing.
The presentation, they tried to go too over the top.
Put up a tent in the auditorium.
Dude, do something like,
and then rip the tent down.
But the moment that did it in for me was they officially became filler when they announced the Black Ops and the Destiny. Yeah. Because then at that point, you're like, they are throwing crap at us to kill our time.
It wasn't even a new... Here's the thing. It wasn't even a new, like, Call of Duty game. It was a... Yeah. You went from Last of Us 2 gameplay reveal to a pre-show panel where they're obviously stalling, and then into Black Ops map packs.
Yeah. And so let me
sizzle reel.
So this is the
that was long. Yeah. It was long. It wasn't like a 5-second.
This is the part that gets me going more than anything.
But I'm gonna defend the Call of Duty crowd.
No, I'm not, because Black Ops 3 came out 4 years ago, and we're getting DLC for it. Infinite Warfare came out 2 years ago. Crap, nothing. All right, that's a load of bull crap, and I don't give a crap what anyone says. I don't care what anyone says. The moment you give me a DLC for a game that's 4 years old, you are officially filler in my eyes. Sony, why would you endorse this crap?
It's for... Wait a second. Black Ops 3 is the newest
No, it's not.
Game.
No.
So this is for an old game.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought Black Ops 3 was the newest.
No, it's not.
So it's not for the new game.
No, that's the point that got to me was like, they endorsed a game that's old.
Is Black Ops 4
No, it's in production. They didn't even get a trailer for Black Ops 4.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If we got a trailer for Black Ops 4, I would have been like, okay, this is where they do their Black Ops thing, or their
yeah. Maybe people are still playing that Black Ops game.
And
Why
dude,
would they do that?
I don't blame them because Infinite Warfare sucks.
They should have had. Here's what they should have had. Don't bring back Sean Layden up there. Don't have one guy with the developer like, hey, they're switching right now. For whatever reason.
We're going to talk about this.
We're going to have this developer, and we're going to feature Days Gone very differently than we do the rest of the games tonight. He's going to do a gameplay demo, something you've never seen from the game, and just give us 10 minutes or 15 minutes with that developer about that game.
Yeah.
They just...
that was one of the... Days Gone anyway.
This is the equivalent... That transition was the equivalent of the car on the stage for Microsoft for me. It was that bad.
It's worse.
It was terrible.
It was literally wasted time.
So then they go back into the auditorium, and we get another individual musical performance. Don't need it. Like, you did one.
See, I'm into that.
But to me, it clashed. To me, the banjo thing made sense. I liked it in a vacuum, like this guy playing the flute. But the banjo thing fit the setting.
Yeah.
The guy playing that flute did not fit the setting of that white auditorium. It was like black on brown. It was like, what is going on?
So then...
It, to me, like, if they were in, like, a hut, okay, cool. Like, to me, they were trying to recreate what they just did a minute ago, but they did it a lot better a minute ago.
And the reason they had to redo it is because they changed venues.
I kind of even felt... I was starting to figure out if that venue... Because they built that other one. Was that like a hat? Was that the hat? I looked up and I thought that was the hat.
That's the crazy part.
Put in the comments if that was the hat.
Up on the ceiling?
Yeah.
It was like an amphitheater style.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called.
So,
like a dome kind of.
They continue. They show the games.
Oh, could you give us a letter?
Yeah, they show the games, and then so for me,
this is the Last Jedi of conferences.
Dude, it really bugged me. This is the purest C I can ever give because it was an F in presentation and A in the games. Games are phenomenal. F and everything else. Okay. Sony really dropped the ball. To me,
I give them a B because I feel like they found their footing. We're talking about the first 20 minutes, but it still was a big deal. I'm with you. And I wasn't a fan of how it ended. Like
I cared significantly less about the second half of the show than I did the first half of the show because of that section.
I totally see, and I agree with you guys on the roughness or whatever, but I am able to look past that and go with I saw what they were trying to do. I get from a presentation and trying to put on a show point of them trying to mix the PSX here's these four guys kind of chatting in between stuff, and they tried to combine that with the E3 big stuff. It was almost like a hybrid.
PSX isn't guys talking about map packs. PSX
PSX was the last one was those four same guys.
It was a develop. No,
that what they did there for that 20 minutes is nowhere near what they did.
PSX
they sat down with the directors of each game and talked.
Yeah,
that was totally.
That's what I'm saying. But it was a hybrid of
filler.
The four. Those were the host or whatever. I'm not saying this was the same as PSX. But it did have that same, what's his name, Sid Vicious? I don't know.
Yeah.
That guy and then those three other guys, and they tried to combine that PSX experience of that.
Yeah, they forgot the game developers.
They didn't
let's bring on Rando, Joe Schmo.
So I see from what they were trying to do, maybe they need to iron that stuff out or whatever, but I appreciate the ambition.
Hey,
my
way to
try.
Try better next year.
Yeah.
Sure. Lastly, something we just watched was Nintendo's conference. I gave them a B. And my only bullet point I actually had to put in here real quick, Smash. They had that Fire Emblem. They had I just saw it and I can't think of really anything else they showed.
Xenoblade Chronicles DLC.
Yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles DLC.
A lot of indie games. Which is awesome.
All these indie games and stuff. But really, this was kind of reminded me of when they did the E3 a couple years ago and they said, we're just showing Zelda. That's all we're focused on. It kind of reminded me of back of that 2016's E3 or whatever.
Yeah.
Of whoa, I guess they're only focused on that. And that's what they did for this was Smash. But them spending the mass amount of time, man, that Smash Ultimate, every single character, that's really cool. I wasn't expecting that, and they dumped that's just a lot of content. That's just a ton of content.
Yeah.
So yeah, I give them a B, and Smash kind of carried that whole thing. Didn't waste time because they kind of spent the majority of time on that, but Mario Party, that was kind of neat. That was kind of cool.
I was really happy about
that. Mario or the tennis is coming out, that Aces or whatever, but ultimately this was Smash. This was Smash the Direct. But what they showed on that was, I just wasn't expecting them to dump all of that massive content in there.
For sure. Definitely solid B+. I think Nintendo does what Nintendo did best and showed off what first-party games they have. When obviously being Smash being the big headliner for the year, that one what got all the time it needed. Because as a beloved, I play every Smash to the death. It's so cool to be able to sit there and say, like, even though I never used Pichu, the fact that Pichu's back just makes it show that this Smash Brothers is the ultimate form of
It's
Smash.
the perfect title.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It really is.
And it's also cool because the way they marketed it, like, the way they just presented it, is like, hey, we're going to teach you about these characters. It's like, this is a Smash that anyone can pick up and play, which is Sakurai's vision. If you guys ever know that, Sakurai believes that Smash should be a game that any random person can pick up and play and have fun.
Yeah.
And I think he gets that point across every single time, even though he's still appealing to those hardcore fans.
Sure.
So, solid B. Love the games, love all the little stuff we're getting. Mario Party, I actually love Mario Party, so that's even better. Nintendo just...
That one is just going to be really awesome because everybody has their Switches and stuff.
Yeah, I think just Nintendo,
cool.
they've turned a really good leaf on this gen.
Yeah.
Really happy about it. Gen .5.
Yeah,
10.5, yeah.
The Direct was cool. Fine to cool. I'm going to buy Smash. I haven't bought a Smash since 64, so it looked fun. I wish there was a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not the biggest Smash guy, like I just said, so we got a deep dive. If you're a Smash guy, like, this was your bread and butter.
Shouts out, Devin.
To me, I give this, like, for me personally, like, this is not a reflection of where I think they're at business-wise. I give it, like, a B-. Like, hey, rock solid, good, positive, not a lot for me to really get excited about. I might check out Mario Tennis. I'm happy with my Switch, like, in the little indies that pop up every now and then anyway, and I've got plenty to do on it, so I'm not exactly hurting for stuff. But Smash, I came in saying, I'll buy Smash and we'll see if I like it, and I still am saying, I'll buy Smash and we'll see if I like it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get deep into the nitty-gritty the way some of you guys do with, like, all the different mechanics and stuff. I'm just kind of looking for a good time, and I will say I'm a little, like, with how big rosters are. That was why I didn't want to play the Wii U one at all when you guys play it. It's just the roster's too big. Like, I feel like I can't. What I like is in this one they kind of made it look like you start with a smaller roster and build out.
You have to grow out with it.
That's awesome.
To me, sometimes there's just so much in the game that I'm like, I don't even think I can get into
I think
this,
the biggest fault with the Wii U one, like you said, is that they gave you it all in the beginning.
Yeah,
and
that's not good.
It doesn't let you hone in on what you're good at.
Yeah.
The original one, even though the original one only had 10 characters. Melee and Brawl. Melee and Brawl
you really
did.
Unlock a bunch of.
You had to earn them, and it was so much cool. Cause I remember playing
that gives you progression.
Yeah, playing the story mode in Brawl, even though Brawl mechanics sucked, playing the story mode was my biggest highlight.
Yeah.
Because as I progressed, I unlocked new characters which I could use and add to my skill set. It was really cool, and so again, B. I think B across the board for all of us sounds pretty good.
Yeah. One thing that's going to be interesting about that, and this goes in back to, like, I'm not huge into the Smash scene, but there's like worship of Smash Brothers Melee and the system that had in that game. So this is another one of, like, how close is this going to beat Melee or whatever. So we'll just have to see if it's faster, if they've tweaked some stuff. It's
I think Sakurai...
The Wii U one was kind of better than Brawl.
Yeah.
It was kind of slower, so we'll have to see. Did Switch get faster than the Wii U
Sakurai
one?
came out and said that he will never make another game like Melee because he believed it was too hard and too competitive. And he never will make a game like Brawl because he said it was too easy.
It's crazy that, like, a creator of something can't see that, like, he's wrong.
I think he sees it, but when I watched the documentary, he did an interview, and he said when he presented the Wii U version, he's like, I believe this will be my final Smash. I think
he said that overall. He'll never be done.
But
he said, like, he's about to go off to college. He's like a little kid.
Yeah, he does.
I love what he said, though, because he said, I believe I produced a game that anyone can pick up and play and be competitive in. And it's shown, because in the competitive scene, you do see a lot more of the newer generation of Smash being played instead of Melee. Yeah. Doesn't mean Melee's, like, not the most competitive one, because people will live and die by Melee.
They'll live by Melee, yeah.
But it just shows the Wii U version was
step
vast improvement compared to what Brawl was.
People are more...
I guarantee you, when you get the Switch version, it'll be a lot like the Wii U version you played.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely. And then lastly, I thought we would go over kind of like what were we most excited for. So I made a little list here. I'm gonna go from. Well, no, this is just not really any order.
Any order. We're going
Any
crazy.
order. No, I'll end on my most excited for. But all these other any order. Last of Us Part 2, great freaking trailer. I watched that again and got goosebumps again. Man, it looked beautiful. Make sure to watch that again because the streaming can kind of be like less quality. I watched that again. I was just like, oh my gosh,
Like
what am
you're
I
shaking
looking
a little
at?
bit.
This
PS4
quality
Pro.
is incredible. Yeah, they just nailed tone. They just nailed gameplay. Ghost of Tsushima, we already said that was great. Spider-Man, Doom Eternal. I'm ready to jump back into a new Doom, definitely. Cyberpunk 2077. That just every scene that just looked like there was a different setting and a different aesthetic and like cyborgs and everything looked different. It was just like wow. It was like almost the antithesis to Ubisoft's games. It was like every single thing was different.
Cyberpunk was my #1 game of the show.
Yeah.
Awesome.
For sure.
I cannot wait to jump into that world. And then my #1 of the show, Death Stranding. So happy that we got to see gameplay, and it's just fun to pick apart like what's going on still. I just love like the kind of meta game inside of learning what this game is even about and like the different. And what was interesting I learned about that the woman that was at the end is actually a younger version of another actress. It is the $6 Million Man.
Yeah, it's that chick. Yeah,
it's that chick, and they like modeled her after like what she looked like back then. Because like Kojima's obsessed with the $6 Million Man or whatever, and all that stuff, and Bionic Woman or whatever. So that's from that. That's that actress or whatever. But I'm just totally into whatever they're doing with this game and just the craziness. So Death Stranding, game of the show for me. Cyberpunk 2077, very extremely close second on that.
Nice. Last of Us 2 was definitely one of the bigger highlights for me.
Yeah.
Again, just a phenomenal game, and I know the next one's gonna be even better. Spider-Man, all those other Sony games, all the Sony games are on my hot list because Sony has just done such a great job appealing to the gamer in me. Yeah. So I really appreciate that. Bethesda with Doom, when I beat Doom 2016, I was craving more. So the fact that we know that another one's on the horizon makes me really happy. Fallout 76 has gotten me to the point where I'm thinking about going back and playing Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3, and Fallout 4. Because I just want to kind of prep myself for that game because I do love the Fallout series. Yeah. I think I just tried to play the Fallout 4 at a bad time.
I had no interest in 76, and after they showed that, I was like, wow, that's something I would have loved to have in Skyrim or something. Of like, just get 3 or 4 of your friends or whatever, and it's like, make an adventure.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Not like Elder Scrolls Online. I thought that was like
it's too big.
Too massive. Let's
they really...
that looked cool.
That really excites me.
Yeah.
And that's something that's like...
Experiment. Yeah.
Low-key, like, the dark horse of the whole conference. So that's pretty much, I think my biggest disappointment that I'm walking away with is Death Stranding. Because I don't understand where that game's going, and it's really frustrating to me because I want to believe in it, and I want to believe the hype. I just have no clue what I'm believing in. So it's kind of like, it's kind of like walking into a dark room and hoping I find a light switch sooner or later.
Yeah. I ended up with a top 9 out of this. I'm going to go from 9 to 1. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 9, and if you had told me that this game, even though I didn't know what it was called, it was number 9 on my list, I'd be like, man, what happened? Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice.
Yeah.
I really love From Software games.
Me too.
I am totally going to play it. Nothing they showed made me jump out of my seat holy crap, yes, of course that's where they're going next. Probably because we've seen samurai games lately. But it's deeper than just that.
Yeah.
It's because another game on my list is Samurai, but it so reminds me of Neo that I'm having trouble.
Yes.
And it doesn't have that creaky, weird voice thing that you get in a lot of those From Software games with the creepy NPCs and stuff. Yeah. So I'm holding out hope that maybe that initial trailer was an Activision idea. And maybe it's got some other things. So that's 9. 8, Halo Infinite. I'm a sucker for Halo 1 vibes. Yeah. That trailer did it for me. They've got my attention. We'll see where it goes. 7, Elder Scrolls 6. My never-ending quest of starting Elder Scrolls games and not finishing them. And not because I get lost in side quests. I just stop after 10 hours. Yeah. Every time one of these comes out, I buy it, and it's I can't wait to play this. But I'm totally a sucker.
Can I jump in on that
6.
real quick?
Yeah.
So we joked in the reaction thing. Going up this E3, I was just like, man,
Oh yes.
Just give me the music
he
comes
just
on.
wanted the music
and
the text.
title. That's
and
all
I
I
told
wanted.
him. I said, dude, that is never gonna happen.
And Nostradamus popped up right here for the stream, and it happened. And man, that's all I wanted. I knew it's going to take like 2 or 3 years to come out, but I cannot wait. And that is definitely next gen.
Yeah,
that's definitely a next gen thing. So to see a next gen Elder Scrolls,
that'll be like mid gen next gen. Like
yeah,
it'll be on our Xbox 5X or whatever.
So that was, I didn't mention that one, but that was just because it's so far off. But I think it's really cool.
Then I've got at number 6, Last of Us Part 2. Awesome reveal. It looks just like Last of Us. Awesome animations, like unbelievable animations. I'm curious what they're going to do with the story. A lot of people were thinking like, oh, that girl in the other trailer was her mom, and they didn't really hint at any of that in this one. So we'll see. But like to me, the gameplay wise, it was more of The Last of Us, which I'm cool with. Didn't get me out of my seat. Doom Eternal. That's a game that they don't have to show me anything because I know exactly what I'm signing up for. I'm all about that. Then number 4, Ghost of Tsushima. Man, that trailer, it was vying. We get real narrow here at the top, but that game blew my socks off. Like you said, it looks like one of those old, like, 1960s samurai movies with, like, the blooming colors. And and I love that the combat is, like, it sets up for this big combat sequence, and then everybody just stands still. And, like, the leaves blow, and then, like, one guy comes in and he goes... Like just one move. Like if they nail that like classic samurai, like very slow to start, but then once you do your very fast action, I'm all about it.
Sucker Punch is doing a great job with this. I'm imagining.
Number 3, Death Stranding. I'm ready to move some boxes. I have no idea what it's about, but I'm signed up. They have my $60, and I can't wait to go on a weird trip. Number 2. All we got was a title card, but as I said earlier, I'm all in on Starfield. Like, I really, really, really think a Bethesda RPG in space. Todd Howard said that he feels like they're particularly, like, uniquely leveraged to be able to do this thing right. I have always felt that way. So I would love to see what they do. And
number 1 is Command and Conquer on mobile.
Command and Conquer on mobile. I can't wait to play against Jacob and just kind of like raffle stomp newbies. Number 1 is Cyberpunk 2077 because I'm playing The Witcher 3 right now. I play the other Witcher games. I trust that company completely. And lately, go look up online. They've been releasing more details. They've been showing gameplay to journalists, and people are coming out of those things saying this thing is unbelievable. And they said that where The Witcher 3 was very world, like horizontally, like huge, they said this game is vertically huge.
Yeah.
Because it's a city, but like it's got layers, I'm thinking. And I've read things like you can go in like buildings, like presumably just all sorts of buildings. Yeah. Like we've never had a city game where you just go into any building so I'm kind of tempering my expectations, but I'm all in on Cyberpunk. Like you said, that trailer was just a series of vignettes giving like the tone, and man, sign me up for that. I'm all in on that.
For sure. Cool. Well, that's it. Did we say like our favorite show of E3?
Yeah,
I would say Sony for me. I just had a fun time with the stuff they showed. Those games were. That's the stuff I'm most looking forward to.
I think at the end of the day, it's a split between Sony or Bethesda, and I'd give it to Bethesda because it just was so crazy.
Yeah, I would definitely be giving it to Bethesda.
Ghost of Tsushima was. And that was a nice.
Bethesda is definitely a very
Sony had better gameplay for sure.
Yeah,
because the last 2 announcements from Bethesda weren't even gameplay, so I'd give it to Sony on that. But flow and stuff, I thought that Bethesda's was a better show.
I was entertained throughout Bethesda's whole show.
And what a funny thing, because I'm with you. Like Bethesda's like running up for me. From last year's.
Yes.
Last year's I think we gave like a D or F.
I gave it an F last year. I think
terrible.
I said they shouldn't have one. I never want to see them have one again. And I actually think I was pretty positive on Ubisoft last year.
Yeah.
And those two have completely flipped.
What do you call it? The Beyond Good and Evil?
Yeah. Well,
was it last year?
It
and
was.
You were like,
I didn't like that specific reveal because I didn't like all the monkeys running around saying the F word. Yeah. I think I was nice to it because of Mario Rabbids. It was a very heartwarming, like...
Yeah, they got that guy bought out. Yeah.
Hopefully next year they kick that Square Enix and Ubisoft to the pre-show.
But yeah, Bethesda last year, man, that was just absolutely unfathomably terrible. And, wow, they really turned it around.
For sure, yeah. All right, well, that's all our E3 talk.
I'm done with E3 2018.
I'm done with E3 2018.
It comes and goes so fast.
Yeah.
It does.
But I don't sleep well the week of E3 because I stay up and like read stuff and people's impressions and I watch the trailers again.
Yeah.
So I was up till like 12:31.
I needed to go to bed much earlier last night than I did.
I just will like read stuff and kind of like read like even Kojima like wrote something for the PlayStation blog and I read on stuff on Death Stranding. It talks a little bit.
Good. Does he explain what the game means?
No, you'll have to wait for the next blog.
I'm good.
But yeah, I just always like I love E3 week. I just get excited.
It's the Christmas for gamers.
Yeah. I don't know.
I will say this year didn't have any huge reveals at all. Was there anything that like really
Bethesda
kind
dropped
of
two new
yeah, well, Starfield we kind of knew about, and Elder Scrolls we knew in the horizon, but like I guess nothing that really.
Those are the only drop the mic at reveals.
Yeah, those are the only
drop
two.
the mic. I think is because.
But I think to me, everybody's
like...
been saying that, but to me that is so weird. In a year where they announced Elder Scrolls 6, that people are saying there weren't any reveals. I think it's because it's so far off.
Yes, I think that, but like other years we got like back-to-back stuff. You can look at like, whoa, this is coming out.
Halo Infinite's big. I think that's big, because that's not just Halo 6. If they come out and it's like Halo 6 and it's Master Chief, on
four other Spartans.
4 other Spartans and
travel
Spartan
to a faraway land,
jetpacking around, then I would have been
I'm just on a different thing with Halo. I think I'm just kind of like...
You moved on.
Ever since 343, I've just kind of moved on.
I've moved on too, but that did it for me. That tone piece of like bringing it back to the classic.
But I guess the stuff they showed was like stuff we already knew about. Like we just got gameplay finally of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like nothing like dropped the mic as much as Elder Scrolls, of course. It's like these things are definitely coming now. But
I just like it because I think Sony's finally like back from that 2016 reveal show where they showed every game we be getting in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
We're finally coming to the end of it.
We're coming to the end of that.
That's where I think Bethesda's going to be in that position now for a while.
Yeah.
We know their tentpole releases for the next 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Starfield's probably 2-3 years off, and Elder Scrolls probably another 3-4 after that.
It's crazy.
We know what they're making for 6-7 years.
But yeah, the biggest tone of the whole show, and then they some journalist, somebody came out and said like, yeah, Xbox, the next Xbox is 2020, and I looked at that and I was just like, hey, try number 2, like because I came into this gen 2013 ready to pre-order Xbox One, ready to pre-order PS4, both of them, and ended up. Microsoft really pushed me to not pre-order, so I'm ready to maybe
start.
I'm ready to fresh start, see what they have.
I don't know if I can ever live in a world where I can own 2 of those major consoles.
If it's worth it. If I will say, but
they have exclusives.
I did immediately think though too with their huge thing of doing PC.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
I went. Maybe I still don't buy the next Xbox.
Yeah, I was interested when they said they were doing all these different people, doing all these different companies or these different studios, and then. I did sit back and I said, but why?
Yeah.
Like, even if I want to support them, why?
Yeah.
I have a PC.
Yeah, I might buy the games for their studio and stuff, but it'll be on PC. Won't be on the Xbox. So, but yeah, this whole show had an air of like we're getting ready for next gen, and so I think 2019 E3 we're going to be doing some reactions, and we might start seeing some. I think they might do some kind of at least like announcement of like PS5 and like all that stuff. And I think 2020 for the latest of reveal of like you're actually going to see the thing. Or
I don't know. I feel like we'll get rumblings next year.
Yeah.
I think they do their own events. Like I think that Microsoft says
they'll put on their own thing. Yeah.
Like they might tell us the name, or maybe they won't tell us the name. Maybe they'll show us a prototype, like they did with like the Nintendo Revolution. And, and then come back later and
next thing you know, you'll be seeing the NX screenshots again of the little oval. With the thumbsticks. This is the next.
Yeah.
This is the NX.
Yeah, we just had a console reveal.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Yeah, cool.
Man.
All right, well, that's our podcast. A little bit short, a little bit sweet. You know what? We're going big this year with Hangouts. We're going. Are you freaking following the Twitter, you geek? I take that back. Are you following the Twitter? I think it would be a nice thing for you to do.
That was a lot more polite.
Thank you. Thank you. You should follow the Twitter. You get updates on when we're going live with Hangouts, when we're doing reactions like we did for E3. I let everybody know when we were live, when a new reaction was coming out. You weren't surprised. You didn't react to surprise about it. You knew. So follow that Dweebo YT on Twitter. Got some cool things in the works for the channel.
Patreon account's coming out soon. Really want to start funding.
Well, maybe you'll do it. I don't know.
I thought we talked about this. Now it looks stupid.
So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for opening your eyes to us on the screen. Thanks for just thinking of us. You might be out and about and go, I'm thinking of Dweebo. I'm thinking of Travis. I'm thinking of Jacob. You know, Jacob, he's just a swell guy.
Yep,
thanks for the thoughts. Thanks for the memories.
Thanks for the memories.
Even though they weren't so bad. Better. One night and one. Where are you going, guys? Hey, is this...